1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, what's up guys? I am James Hake. This is the Hake Report. It is Thursday, November 21st, 2019. Right? Yeah, Thursday. Women's Forum tonight, ladies. For ladies only. And, what else? We're live in the fourth hour of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. Thank you, Jesse. I'm on Jesse Lee Peterson's YouTube channel, Periscope at JLP Talk. What's up, Marie Freeze? And dlive.tv/Jesse Lee Peterson, right? And mixer.com/JLP Talk. And you can also maybe be listening through the, we're supposed to be streaming through the Hake Report. You may see it under Jesse Lee Peterson's name sometimes on the TalkStream app. So if you look for, go to TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStreamLive.com made the TalkStream app and the Talk Right app, and I think they're even making Talk Left app and Talk Religion app or something like that. But you'll see it on the Talk Right and TalkStream app. And today I have a very special guest for you. Oh, I gotta give Joelle the pictures first. You may recognize this guest from prior appearances related to Jesse Lee Peterson and Bond functions. And good guy. I've been wanting to have this guy as a guest for seems like a year, maybe more than a year, to be honest. Actually multiple years, I think. I just put it in the folder, Joel. His name is BrendioEEE. And Brendio is also known as Derrick, right? Derrick?
Derrick, yeah.
Derrick appeared on The Fallen State a few years ago, I want to say, October 2016. Am I wrong?
I'm not sure.
Okay, on a Fallen State episode, and it was titled, let me give you the title, because I have some pictures. It was titled Involuntary Celibate. Derrick reveals the Incel mentality, and incels are is short for involuntary celibate mentality, online and real world struggles. It was episode number 103 on the Fallen State YouTube channel. That's an excellent channel. And he's appeared on multiple interviews, actually. He appeared on Return of the Incel, which is the Jesse Lee Peterson show, just this past May 2019. BrendioEEE gets called out. Some of you guys called in. One, I think a black guy called in and suggested trucking. And then in the Hake Report afterwards, I was talking about he didn't want to do trucking because trucking is a dying industry. In the next 10 to 20 years, it's going to die out. So he didn't want to do trucking. And so maybe we'll talk about that. And he also appeared at the 10th annual men's conference. A lot of you guys showed up from around the world at a hotel. The men's conference is an annual conference put on by Bond, and he appeared on a panel with a bunch of millennials. It was an excellent panel. And then he later, in August of this year, appeared on the Men's History Month Free Speech Forum. By the way, the men's conferences are an annual event taking place on Saturday, the day before Father's Day. And Bond has been putting them on for 10 years. Then he appeared on the Men's History Month, which Jesse Lee Peterson founded, Free Speech Forum, and it was fun. So very cool. I appreciate you coming on. And then, most recently, what kind of prompted me to I'm like, I have to wait for the right time to bring on BrendioEEE. And he's wearing his signature yellow jacket, and it looks like a Spider-Man jacket?
Yeah, it's some sort of yellow Spider-Man jacket I got a long time ago.
Yeah, but I think he's worn it at practically every interview, except you did wear a suit on the Fallen State. That was nice.
Yeah, well, It wasn't the best suit, but it was the only one I had available.
Right on.
Yeah.
But he just appeared in a viral video. He made a video go viral for the YouTube channel, far left YouTube channels, apparently. Jubilee. And the name of that video is called I'm an Incel, Ask Me Anything. And to me, it was a little sleazy what they did to him.
Yeah,
According to him, they were going to put up a link to his channel and stuff. It didn't follow through. So according to him, shameful. Shame on you, Jubilee. Jubilee, I think, is run by like this white guy who acts like he's nice, but he's a liberal and not to be trusted, I guess. Liberals act nice, but in reality, they're evil. Can't help it. And incels have been smeared in the liberal media for so-called hating women and stuff, as if they don't hate women. Everybody hates women, including women. And you shouldn't hate women. I mean, Jesse Lee Peterson does not hate women, but he was one of the main people that people think hates women because he tells the truth in actual love. So I included in this viral video, Ask Me Anything, I'm an Incel, this link about this Toronto shooter who brought some attention against the incels. And there was a very famous guy who was supposedly an incel. I don't know if he called himself that. I don't know if he birthed the incel movement. The Supreme Gentleman, the shooter this is the Toronto shooter. But Joel, Google that guy's name. What's that Supreme Gentleman's name?
Elliot Rodger.
Elliot Rodger. Google him and then just show some pictures of him. Because the incels have been smeared, and I think they kind of brought it on themselves by identifying with Elliot Rodger. But I think they identify with him, most of them, ironically, just because his videos. Elliot Rodger was a guy, a mass shooter, and you can tell the story maybe better than me, who he was mad because he couldn't. Well, he was really mad because I think he was poorly raised. His father was a white guy, movie producer.
Actually,
there
I think
he
was
is.
Jewish. I think his father was Jewish.
Jewish, a white Jewish movie producer, married an Asian woman, and I think that he was maybe spoiled rich or well-to-do, let's say, but he just couldn't get the ladies. To me, he looks like a good-looking guy. He reminds me of the guy who played Superman in that early 2000s, late 90s show from called Smallville. Doesn't he look kind of like that?
He's a pretty good.
He looks like
guy.
Nick. He looks like Nick, Jesse Lee Peterson's producer, a little bit ambiguous. But go ahead and you tell the story and the background.
Well, before I tell the story about him, all these so-called like incel shooters, none of them have really, except for Alec Manassian, I believe, none of them have identified as an incel. It was only Alec Manassian who identified as an incel.
Yeah.
The story is with Elliot Rodger, is that he was born to a Jewish father and a Southeast Asian mother, and they grew up in, I believe, where did that shooting happen again?
Santa Barbara area?
Santa Barbara, correct. And it was in a predominantly white area. And over his life, he had like some trouble with, I suppose, finding a woman who, was interested in him.
Yeah.
And I would say that's predominantly because typically, most of the time, people are interested in people who look similar to them, whether they're white, black, Asian, etc. And in where he lived, there weren't really many people who looked like him. And I think that really bothered him. And he even goes on about how he wanted a blonde white girlfriend and stuff like that. And I mean, that's understandable considering he grew up around these white blonde women. And he's like wondering why these women that he grew up around don't like him.
That's like Joel. Joel grew up around Mexicans, so he's attracted to Mexicans, right?
And whites, Mexican and whites.
Yeah. So yeah, you make a good point.
Yeah.
So Dylon says his dad was British. I don't see anything about him being Jewish. So that's what Dylon says. There's a difference of.
I've heard he was Jewish.
Disputed.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. But, before I ask about you and this incel smear thing that's been going on, and actually like some flaws that I see in the incel community, the existence of it. Have you been keeping up with the news at all? Like the politics, these attacks on Trump and all that stuff. Do you have any big opinions about those things?
Yeah, I have actually. Funnily enough, the thing that I've been following the most is the drama with Nick Fuentes.
Oh,
Nick
good.
Fuentes and the Groyper. You know, I'm a big fan of Nick Fuentes.
Yeah.
I think I actually recommended Jesse to get him on,
Oh, nice.
and eventually, you know, they went on each other's shows, and that was, you know, that's great.
Yeah.
Big fan of both, you know, Jesse and Nick, and I would say I'm more on the Groyper side for sure. I'm definitely more of a, you know, a Groyper, a Nick as he says.
Right on.
And that's, you know, the whole turning point. I'm not a I would definitely say I don't support them, but I know that's not completely related to the whole incel stuff.
Right.
It's more-
No, I actually am interested in that, and that is what a lot of people are talking about. So it's nice that you know about it and are taking a little bit of a side. I noticed that you are like a very likable person, and you're very knowledgeable about this stuff. And so I'm not surprised that you're not really falling for the blue pill, let's call it, of the more like standard vanilla so-called conservatives, and that you're a fan of Nick and of Jesse. That's cool. And I remember your interview in The Fallen State, kind of defending or explaining the positions of the alt-right back then.
Yeah.
About, you know, because there's all these smears about, oh, because Nick is supposedly a Holocaust denier and stuff like that. In reality, I think he's just incredulous about it. And he's a Zoomer. He's not all that. He doesn't really take it seriously because he doesn't fall for the melodrama and the sanctimony, as he calls it. Because people act very sanctimonious and with their political correctness. And they hide behind that just to shut a person down who's unpopular. Or unpopular in the so-called in crowd. And that's what they're doing to Nick right now. So that's cool.
Absolutely.
So let me quickly get to my issue with the incels and with identifying as an incel. I like that you are an advocate for the incels, you're not preaching, but you're, in a sense, you're an ambassador giving a positive face and understanding on behalf of giving understanding to the incels, because the incels are smeared as hating women and stuff. Like I said, as if anybody else doesn't hate women. The liberals are the worst haters of anybody. But the problem that I have with you guys identifying as incels is that it's giving a name to a situation in life, and it's causing a kind of a victim mentality where, yes, you guys have, let's call it unprecedented challenges where the world is like evil and brainwashed against young men, especially white men. And there is like a challenge of parents raising kids to be like socially awkward and in these diverse communities where women are raised liberal, feminist, anti-men to begin with, anti-white. And so there are challenges. I totally understand that. But it's kind of trapping yourself in a victim mentality and identifying with it and almost like taking pride in it. There are people calling you fake cell, and that's the temptation to be like, no, I'm a real incel. And then you want to prove you're an incel when none of the incels should want to be incels. They should be wanted to be making white babies and Asian babies and even black babies. There got to be some black incels, right?
There's a few, yeah. Not many.
Right. So what do you say to that?
Well, I would say that's more of a misconception. I would say like most people in the incel community do not want to be incel. I would say there is a sort of like fake pride that, you know, people do. You know, they say I'm more of a true cell than you are. You know, I'm uglier than you are. Like, you know, I'm deformed, and I'm actually you're 5'5", but I'm 5'0", or I'm 4'8" or something.
Yeah.
And or like, you know, you're only an incel because, you know, you're fat or something.
That reminds me of Pete Buttigieg in the Democrat debate last night, he was bragging that he was the least wealthy candidate. So he's like
Yeah.
advocating like he's more of a loser. But anyways, go on.
But yeah, as I was saying, most of them do not want to be incel, and most of them have tried many things, or I would say like, people who are in the community, they try to look for various different ways and aspects in life to escape it, whether it be improving themselves physically, looking for a job. Like, I actually have a job now.
Nice,
Finally,
congratulations. That was going to be one of my questions. Anyways,
Yeah.
Right on.
Congratulations. Yeah. It's only, it's seasonal, so, who knows
Okay.
what'll happen, after the season. Sometimes they only hire people during seasonal.
right.
Like the holidays and stuff, but, I hope it stays forever,
Cool.
obviously. But yeah, people, they're doing stuff to improve themselves, whether it be physically, going out there, to different areas, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And incels are trying. Like, I would say for sure, like, most of them are trying to get better. And the ones that, give up, I would say they have given up after trying for years and years and years, sometimes after, like, horrible rejections and et cetera. And there is a culture of nihilism. Don't get me wrong. Like there are people who have completely given up, and they do like the whole LDAR, which I think it means lay down and rot. I think, which is a common term. But I would say that is not the common mindset. And me personally, I've lost a lot of weight and I've gotten a job, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I hope that. With certain prospects and plans that I have, that I'm gonna, have a wife and, have kids, etc.
How old are you now?
Oh, now I'm 22.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
But I want to have kids young though. I want,
There's
maybe
this
like
there's this
23,
controversy. Is Nick Fuentes 21 or 22? Because I see in the media they're calling him 22, but then his real followers say he's 21.
Oh, he's actually 18. He had his 18th birthday yesterday, actually.
All right, okay. That's fair. Do people like celebrate with each other when somebody breaks out of being an incel?
Well, there is a term in the incel community called ascension. So some people get mad about people ascending. Some people, are happy for them. It depends like how much effort they've put into it, I suppose. Depends how they ascended. Like I would assume that people would be more upset over someone who might be more good looking who ascends, because, or like, especially if someone was fat like I am, even though I am 5'5". Keep in mind, all the incels watching, because I know that you are watching, my friends on the forum, I am 5'5", to be fair, okay? Pretty short guy. So, but there's some people who do get mad about the whole, I'm fat. Cause I am overweight. A lot of it's just loose skin though at the moment. It's just, loose skin, but, I used to be 330 pounds, and I am going to continue to lose more weight. And I'm like most of the time when I'm going to work nowadays, I'm actually biking 5 miles to
Wow.
work. So, or
Did
5
you bike
miles
here?
back. I didn't bike here. No, I
Okay.
live too far away from here. But I think a lot of people think that if I do ascend, as the term goes, that it'd be because I was fat, and I have gotten better looking by losing the weight and all this other stuff. And there's other people who have lost weight and have escaped inceldom through that means. But I would say there are some people who want people to ascend. I would say like the whole community wants everyone to ascend. That's why we're together. We want everyone to escape inceldom, and we don't want inceldom to be a thing anymore. And I would say like most people in the community have found that traditionalism of some form, some of it may not be the best kind of traditionalism, is what would lead to inceldom not being a thing anymore.
So the incels, do they frown if somebody ascends by having sex out of wedlock? Do they frown upon that?
I would say probably most people do, yeah.
Do frown on it?
Yes.
They don't support sex out of wedlock.
For the most part, I would say yes.
Wow.
They don't support that.
So they do have like you said, the traditional values.
Yes. Most, but keep in mind, most are very nihilistic. Most aren't
Yeah.
like religious. I think 25%, according to some surveys, are
Okay.
religious, and most of them would be Christian. The few who are religious. But
What is the place where you recommend that people go to find out about incels or see their forums or something? Or
well,
do you recommend it?
No, I would recommend it. Go for it. It's it's interesting. There's it's www.incels.co, which is co, and they also have a a black-pilled Wikipedia page where they talk about a lot of incel topics, and a lot of them have great sources on various different studies about like hypergamy.
How do they find the black-pilled Wikipedia page?
I think it's linked on the incel forum. I think if you go to like incels.co, there'll be a little tab up there that says wiki or whatever.
Yeah.
You can even pull it up. I don't know. You can pull it up on the screen.
Okay.
But it's really like, obviously if you want to join the forum, you do have to be a man. No women allowed, no females allowed.
You said that. Did you say that there are no such thing as female incels?
Yes, there are no such thing as female incels.
Okay.
There's also no such thing as gay incels either.
Okay.
You can't be homosexual.
Yeah, I've heard. I mean, I read a story about somebody when you bring that up about some guy who's disabled, has some type of thing going on. He's wheelchair bound, and then he like hires like prostitutes or something, male prostitutes or something. It was crazy. And then like he started to try to have a relationship with one of them. It was crazy. And then he like lived with his mother, and like the mother was okay with it. There's all kinds of madness happening in the world. Are you a Christian?
I am a Christian, yes.
Okay. You raised Christian, or did you like go away from it, come back to it?
Yeah, I was raised Christian, but I think like when I was around like 8th grade or so, I became like an atheist.
Okay.
Maybe it was like 7th grade. And then after that, I actually had a great teacher in the 8th grade who led me back to Christianity. And then like when I got older,
public school teacher?
No, private school teacher. I guess you wouldn't really expect that at a public school. And then like later on in life, I did kind of go back to more of a atheistic worldview. But then I would say like around 18, 19, I actually, funnily enough, started studying a bit of evolutionary biology. And when I studied that, I started to notice like all of the logical conclusions of this scientific, field seem to align pretty almost entirely with Christianity, at least in my view.
Wow.
So that kind of led me back, even firmer, that's the word, yeah, firmer belief in Christianity.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have some callers that want to talk. Some of them want to talk with you. Let me get to Skip out of Augusta, Georgia. Skip, how are you?
Hey, James, how you doing, man?
Doing fine.
Hey, fella, how you doing? I forget, what's your name?
Derrick. Well, Brendio.
Okay, look here. I've been kind of seeing you on Jesse shows and all. You seem to have come a long way, and I got a couple of questions for you, and they're not smart-ass questions. I'm just being, honest with you. Some things I don't understand, and I'm glad to hear that y'all don't let no queers be incels. But how can you know if a queer is an incel's a queer or not?
How do you know if they're a queer? Is that what you?
Yeah, I mean do y'all have do y'all ask them? If you queer, you can't come in or what?
Well, there's actually a wonderful moderator on the website known as Najd, and he really, in particularly, does not like homosexuality, I suppose, and he will scour the forums, and he will see if anyone posts anything even a little bit gay, he will ban them on the spot, and so if anyone even acts gay or does anything gay, he will be banned. That's.
You can kind of tell when they walk in how they walk, right? I know that's a good way of telling them, a queer or not, the way they walk. But look here. Seriously,
Switch it.
You ever heard of Alcoholics Anonymous and NA and all that?
Yeah. Yes.
Do they have any kind of programs like that for incels where they get together and talk about this kind of stuff?
Maybe not publicly, but on the forum, yeah, I would say like a lot of them might be too afraid to come together publicly because of various reasons.
Well, I'm really, the only time I ever heard about incel is when I see you on Jesse's show and James and all y'all talked about it. So I'm down here in Augusta, Georgia. I can't say I ever met an incel and wouldn't know if I saw one what it looked like. But do y'all plan on being incels the rest of your life, or is this a lifestyle forever, or
No.
is it something you want to get out of?
Yeah, it's something that we want to get out of. In fact, there's many incels that I would say don't even identify as an incel. I would say the majority of incels don't identify as an incel. It's not something that you choose to be. It's just something that we can identify. It means involuntarily celibate, and if we find out there's someone who's involuntarily celibate, they don't have to necessarily identify as one. It's just something. It's like a state of being, really. Some people are voluntarily celibate too.
It seems like to me that it's more of a how you think people look at you kind of thing. Like you don't have the confidence to go out and not be an incel, to talk to people and like you said, something about jobs and asking women out on dates and all. But let me tell you something. I've got some friends that's pretty short, and and they're a little bit pudgy and all. But let me tell you what, that don't let that stop you from getting out there and don't look your look. Hey, look at Michael J. Fox. He's only 5'5", and Tom Cruise ain't the 5'7". I ain't but an inch taller than him. Don't let your looks or your appearance. It's all about your personality, and that's what people look at, man. And I see that you got a good personality. I don't think you've got no right to be no incel. And don't look at yourself as no incel. You can get out there and be what you want to be, man.
Right. Well, I thank you for the kind words. You seem like a very nice guy. But I would argue that it really does depend where you live, for sure. I would say the most important things, the only things really that attract women are looks, money, and status. And of course, sometimes looks matter a lot less depending on where you live. Maybe in Georgia, maybe your status matters more, or and status can come from various different things, whether it be you're religious, like maybe you're a Christian or you're white, etc., and you might have more of a status among other Christian white women as a conservative man or whatever. It really depends where you live, but where I live in LA, women are very, very shallow, and it's not just me. There's men who are much better looking and taller than me who have maybe my personality might be better than them. Who knows? But it's certain places in the world are pretty bad, and a lot of guys out there are struggling really hard, especially in cities, in particular, leftist cities, particularly.
Well, look at here. This is just me now, but if you keep trying to find all the reasons why you got to be an incel and why you can't not be an incel, you're gonna always be an incel. It's not about places. It's not about where you live. It's not about being down here in the South and you kind of make it sound like the women down here in the South are dumb,
I didn't mean it like that, no. I actually...
I know you did. I'm just diving with you. But look here. Man, you got a good personality, and you're not afraid to talk because you get out here and you talk to people and all on these shows and stuff. Man, you can be anything you want to be.
I appreciate that, Skip. Thank you, man.
All right, James.
All right, take care. You mentioned the things that attract women. You left out a strong personality.
Yeah, I did, because I don't really think personality matters that much.
Wow.
And I'm saying this as someone who gets complimented for my personality.
No, but you don't have a strong personality, a forceful personality. So you are very nice, and that probably is a turnoff to women, because I don't know if you're more people-pleasing to women than you are in being normal, but... kind of like fat guys or ugly guys or even annoying guys that are forceful and going for it, they do get more chances than those of us who are nice or more shy around women.
I wouldn't call myself nice, really. I would just call myself more respectful, I suppose. Like I act, and I'm not acting.
I know.
I am not acting. Believe me, I am not getting friend zoned by females. I am not acting overly nice to females.
Yeah,
that is not happening. Believe me. But yeah, I can make women laugh. They say, oh, if you can make women laugh, you can get a girlfriend, etc. I've talked to many women. I've talked to hundreds of women. I've asked out hundreds of women here in LA. I don't think personality matters. I just personally don't think it matters. I don't even think strong personality matters. I think maybe strong impressions from your looks matter.
Because a strong personality even affects your status. Because look at these, I notice a pattern with these Jewish guys that rise to the top, that they look at Stephen Miller, who is like one of the top guys at the White House, younger than me, older than you. Strong personality. And then there was a lot of these guys in the alt-right who are even like have Jewish blood in them. Dylon is a go-getter, and he did not stop until he got himself a girl by hook or by crook. Maybe he like, maybe he went too far. But there's,
Well,
I totally disagree with you that maybe it's not, it has to be personality.
It's not personality.
Yeah, he stayed within the law, just to clarify, guys. Dylon did. But anyways, let me get to another caller, though. Another caller.
Okay.
And then you say, I'm going to open the line for the caller. Say what you want to say, because it sounds like you want to say something.
Right. I would say when it comes to like a lot of Jews, it usually comes from the status they might have as a Jew or from their resources, which resources goes into the money argument. When it's like looks, money, status, it's more like looks, resources, status. But resources can inflate your status. So
look at Trump. Look at Benjamin Netanyahu. Look at these guys. It's not just status. It's a forcefulness to them. They have a forcefulness and a confidence that is.
I think.
And Trump is not Jewish, but he has that strong personality.
But I think Trump would have a lot less success with women if he did not have the same fame and money that he.
But he got that fame and money through that strong personality. It's all. Anyways, we're gonna argue forever.
Okay.
Let me get to Michael from Arizona, first-time caller. Michael, go for it, man.
How's it going?
Fine.
Yeah, this is actually my first time listening as well. I just want to go to the guest here.
Yeah.
He said he asked out hundreds of girls and stuff with no, success or anything like that. Do you go on dates or anything?
Yeah. I've tried various different ways to ask out women and going to, like various locations. Like I've gone to churches, I've gone on dating apps, I've gone to like communal events and, social events, social gatherings, etc. And to be fair, I was fatter and uglier when I did that, but as much as I did, but no, I never had any success. Not in LA anyway.
The only point that you say LA, of course there's going to be shallow people and children of the lie, as Jesse would say, everywhere, right? Everywhere you go, there's people like that. You have to weed them out. There's going to be snakes in the grass, right? You have to find them and sort them out. But if you don't first love yourself, how is somebody else going to love you, right?
Sure. I mean, I love myself quite a bit, actually.
But
what's that mean?
Being an incel, I know there's the Chad meme, whatever, going around, thinking that the alpha male is always taking the women and you're not good enough. I just feel like that's the mentality of the incel community. Am I wrong about that? I know you talked about this a little bit earlier.
I would say the incel mindset is just more based on like hypergamy and promiscuity, primarily. But yeah, Chads do get most of the women because of that, I suppose.
But why you have to be confident?
Chads are good-looking guys.
Being confident. Okay, well, you don't have to be good-looking. I mean, as long as you're confident, a woman's going to want you, right?
I don't think confidence matters if you're like...
conversation or if you're controlling the room, women are attracted to that. You don't have to be looking like Brad Pitt or people like that.
So what you're saying is a 4'6", deformed face gigamanlet will, if he is extremely confident, he will get all the women in the room to scour around him versus maybe a guy who looks like a.
That's not reality.
There are men who are like that on the forum.
No one man attracts every woman.
Okay, will he attract a single woman in that room? Especially in LA?
Of course.
He won't.
But, okay.
He won't. He absolutely
But you're going to
won't.
extremes.
Midget.
There are
most incels aren't that.
Looks like it's 4'6". And there's communities of midgets. 4'6" is a legal midget, right?
Sure. Well, let's
There's
5
plenty of
foot
communities.
0.
You can
5
go
foot
online
1.
and be like r/midget community, and there's people like you, right? And you can meet up with them or Tinder,
I would assume that the female midgets are getting a lot more men than the male midgets are.
Jeez.
Why does it have to be a competition between men and women, though? I don't understand that.
Well, I think he's just making the point that
most women,
female incels
who cares about that?
exist.
You find who you like, and you be with that person, you love them, and then you have children with them. That's it.
Well, some men can't find anyone at all.
Women can get more men than me, so I'm mad at women. Why is that the mentality? I don't understand.
No, it's more of some men can't get any women at all, and that's a problem.
Statistically, is that possible? Any, zero. You're not trying it. You're either not trying at all, or you're saying that there's 0 women in the world that would love you out of the 4 billion that there are.
No, I'm saying that in some areas, there are some men who cannot get a woman where they live.
In some areas, okay?
Yes.
Move. There you go.
Okay, yeah, just get money and move there. Yeah, I know. That's the
Yeah,
plan.
exactly.
That's why I have a job right now. That's why I'm trying to move, actually.
Dylon is in the
but if
chat.
that's your mentality with women, if that's your whole mentality with women, like, oh, poor me, then what does that say about the rest of your life? You can't be an entrepreneur. You have no mentality. Like, oh,
I have a job to
tried
save up
50
money to
times, so I
leave
give up.
LA so I can
you
get a
keep trying.
woman.
You keep trying. If you believe in yourself, you're not going to give up.
I am not giving up. Have you seen me when I looked like really fat on Fallen State?
Well, there you go. That's good that you're trying to better yourself.
I appreciate it, Michael. Thank you, man. Christian out of Santa Clarita has another question or comment or theory about the guests. First time caller, Christian,
Hey.
Santa Clarita, California.
Hey.
Hey.
Thank you.
Yeah. Go for
You
it.
can hear me good?
Yes.
All right. So I think overexposure on porn can give you the perception, especially when you're young, right? You don't know what's in the world yet. You see porn for the first time. You get the impression there's a pot of gold out there that you need to be getting. But it's not. It doesn't exist. You're just lusting, basically. And because lust is just a thing that you want. And because you got exposed to it, and nobody really trained you to resist it or taught you about what it's about, you think you need to have it. But there's nothing to have. You know, it's another person, it's another human being, a spirit, but you're lusting after it like it's like, sorry for the bad reference, but Lord of the Rings, Smeagol, oppression. That's how it comes across to me. Incels come across to me like a bunch of Smeagol's in the locker room. And if you go to those forums, it just sounds like that.
Are you saying that incels are into porn? And that's what's causing a big part of the problem?
They don't have to be into porn, they just need to be exposed to it or overexposed to it at early age, very early, like
okay.
5.
What do you say?
Around 5. After 5 years old, it can traumatize you.
Well, I am a strong advocate against pornography. I feel like that is very damaging to, especially young men, for sure.
The incels agree?
I would say most incels agree that pornography is bad, and it is not good, and it has negative effects on the mind. I don't know if you've heard of this new meme called the Coomer or whatever.
I have.
The Coomer is like the guy who's porn addicted and is writing thousands of porn reviews, going to black.com conferences, et cetera. And look, I am not an advocate of porn. Many people on the forum are not an advocate of porn. There are men on the forum who might be porn addicted. I'm sure like many men are porn addicted. There are older men who are porn addicted. I would say like most people who try to find help for porn addiction are typically in their 30s and 40s, really. But yeah, I am not an advocate for porn at all.
What is it about the woman that you feel like you need to have when you see someone else having it? You look at like comparison reasons, and like females compare because they're very territorial and stuff. So they always be looking over the neighbor's garden and saying, "I don't like that. I hate that because it's better, maybe." Or they have something that they don't have.
Well,
you're literally becoming like that when you talk like that.
What I would want in a woman, and I would say what most men on the forum and boys want from women, is love and companionship, and someone to spend the rest of their life with, someone to enjoy.
A deception.
It's a deception, you said?
That's a deception?
Of course.
I don't think so. I don't think it's a deception.
It is totally a deception. That's why you're all in the mess in the first place. And I was phoning to just say it's the porn that did it and give you that perception. Not real. You give love, they take it. They grow from it.
I would say we give love to each other, I would say
gay.
He said gay?
Gay.
That sounds gay.
Well,
Michael Mortis said that it sounds gay too. Dylon is citing thank you, Christian. I appreciate that, man. Good input.
Bye now.
Bye. I'm going to get to all of you guys, all of you callers, even the ones who are not necessarily incel specific. So do hang tight. Dylon is citing the 80-20 rule. Have you heard of it?
I have heard
Explain it in 30 seconds or less.
of it. The 80-20 rule is where 80% of men, 80% of women in the past biologically bred with only the top 20% of men. And if in the more primitive a society becomes, the more that rule is in place.
So that means that leaves only 20% of women for the other 80% of men?
No, the other 20% of women are not breeding at all.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that means that 80% of men are having a tough time.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, let me quickly get, I have 4 callers that I want to get to. So Thomas out of Canada, go for it.
How are you, Hake?
Fine, thank you.
And what's your name? Brendy?
BrendioEEE. EEE.
All right, Brendy. Okay. I just want to tell you something. I don't have hate for no one. Okay, and I feel for the incels because they really don't get something. I had girls I'm only 20 and girls are still running after me, and the thing is that I don't force anything. The thing with incels, and I'm trying to really explain it well. Bear with me, is they try to theorize, make a theory about women, but in the reality, women don't care because they're way smarter than you think. They'll just follow you if you're alpha enough. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, but I think it's wrong.
Do you believe in that alpha beta thing?
Let me tell you something.
Go for it.
If you're going on a date with a girl and you start talking all that stuff, she'll be like, this guy is crazy. But you can just, it's not by learning her, theoretically, what you'll do that's going to make her follow you. It's by being the example, like just Jesse said. You have to be the light and then she'll follow you. Not it's not a study, it's not like a history class or something. So you guys, you're online, you're trying to figure out a way for girls to follow you, but they'll never will because you have to be the light first. Because when you get what I mean? I'm trying to explain it, but
he laughed and almost threw up when you said girls are smarter than you think.
I just laughed. But,
no, listen, bro. It's not in the look. Their intelligence is is different than us. Maybe they're more of adaptive. So we will fall more into intellectual and all of it, but that's none of their business. They'll only follow you if their instincts tell you to follow you because they're good with energy. They know what they're doing.
They can see through.
Most of the feminists are lost right now because guys are trying to find their way to get laid and stuff, and it's a mess. Just be the light, and they'll follow you. You don't need to try and figure out a way. I've got late. I get lit. I don't see. I'm trying to explain. When you're trying to theorize something, you'll think the woman is your god, because that's going to be your goal. In reality, my goal is not to get laid, and I still get laid.
You shouldn't be getting laid. Hey, so this guy said something that I totally disagreed with, but it's very understandable about love. He said that the incels want love.
Yeah,
and they think that they're going to get the love from the. You really think that you're going to get love from the woman?
No way. That's the thing. You'll never get it.
If you ascend.
If I find the right woman, sure. If I find a virgin woman, yeah, probably.
Okay. Thomas, thank you, man. I have to cut it short and keep moving to all of my callers. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, okay. I tried to explain it, but
you did a pretty good job. You talked about becoming alpha, and I have to believe that he believes in strong men and weak men.
I do.
Yeah, of course.
But I would say women perceive strong men typically from their looks a lot of the time. Not always. Not in every society. Well, I would say, you live a life of privilege
most
from
bodybuilders
looks or
in
status.
the gym are betas.
Yeah. They're
and they try to have the best looks ever. I'm a skinny dude, and I'm the most alpha in a group. Like
Thomas, thank you, man.
Incels who are really buff and they
Anyways,
don't get any women because they're
All right,
ugly.
take care. I'm gonna donning armor. Do hold on. I'm gonna get to you. Jew Groiper out of Florida. Speaking of Nick Fuentes and all the stuff about it, Jew Groiper. I think he was referred to on my show yesterday. A caller called in, said that some of these Groipers, because there's a controversy between Jesse and Jesse and his followers and Nick and his followers, even though
really?
like they agree generally.
Is it because Jesse's followers are boomers and Groipers are zoomers?
I don't know, but there is a zoomer aspect to it and there is a boomer aspect to it. But somebody called and accused Jew Groiper of being a sneaky guy pretending to be a Bernie supporter because Jew Groiper wears a yarmulke and wears a Bernie T-shirt, I think, and went up to ask a question, but it turned out he was not a liberal. He was not a Democrat. He was maybe not a Bernie supporter. I don't know. And he asked a Groiper question, meaning like a nationalism, stopping this Israel first stuff that they're accusing the establishment, TPUSA, of being, or I don't know exactly what he asked, but there's an accusation out there that the Groipers are adopting these sneaky tactics, subversive tactics, instead of just coming straight on like they started out.
Well, they have to do this because, you see, the left has been using Marxism for so many years to win
Sneaky
against
stuff.
us. You know, they've been using these
Subversion.
sneaky
Yeah.
Talmudic tactics. And we have to use these Talmudic and Marxist tactics, but to spread the truth without being deceptive, without being evil or subversive in a bad way.
So, Jew Groiper out of Florida, what do you say?
Hello. Thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. Yes, calling out of the Sunshine State over here. Shalom to everyone. Sorry. It was interesting. I was listening to the Incel conversation. I had things to add on it, but I'm not going to do that. I want to keep this focused on why I called in the first place.
Okay.
And I kind of wanted to talk about, why I had to do what I did. It's funny. The sneaky Jew thing was kind of funny that I heard from that the other day. I think those things are funny. I don't find offense to anything like that. It's very hard to offend me.
So are you actually Jewish?
Yes.
Are you?
I'm 100% Jewish. I'm not even like, people who know Jews. Like if there's anyone in your if anyone in your family converted, you're part of the tribe of Israel. I'm actually not part of the tribe of Israel. I'm linked all the way back to the tribe of Levi, which is where Moses comes out of. So I have 5,000 years of Jewish blood running through my veins.
And do you support Bernie Sanders?
I do not support Bernie Sanders.
Did you wear a Bernie T-shirt?
I wore a Bernie T-shirt. I wore a Bernie T-shirt.
And was that to trick the people into letting you ask a question?
Absolutely. It was to trick them. And the reason why, and this person who called the other day was not, updated on the relevant facts, but that's okay. I understand why. Not everyone, Nick Fuentes, although he's a rising star, he is rising, which means that he's not yet in the mainstream. He's been dabbling in it quite recently, and his name is getting out there. But for a long time, this guy has been very esoteric. And it took me crawling through the annals of YouTube to actually find him. And the reason why I had to do what I had to do is not because we, the Groipers, or Nick Fuentes fans, the Knickers, not that we are being the subversive ones. It's Turning Point USA that's actually being the subversive one. I was following the Groiper War since the beginning.
Let me ask you a question. What was your question to the Charlie Kirk or whoever you asked? What was your question?
So the question goes kind of like this, basically, is that, the last 3 weeks, it was basically a reflection of everything Turning Point USA was doing to our people and the positions they advocate for. So I was saying, over the course of the last 3 weeks, you guys have been smearing the very people who built the country, which are Catholics and Christians. This country was built on Christian traditions, not Judeo-Christianity. That does not exist.
It's funny that you want to lump the Catholics in with us. We didn't like the Catholics back then, did we?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I understand that Protestants, for the most part, were responsible for building the country. However, you cannot deny that Catholics are very strong, and if not the strongest backbone in the country right now today.
So
and those are the people who really make the country great.
All right. Interesting, man. I appreciate you clearing that up, although you were sneaky and slightly deceptive in wearing that Bernie shirt. And but anyways, I'm glad to know the truth.
Well, I want to say why. You know, it's because if you're
one question. Is it true?
Yeah.
Is there witness account or is there documentation of them discriminating against the Groypers, weeding them out of the Q&A lines?
Yeah, absolutely. So right before I went up to go ask a question, I mean, there's many such accounts, but I have a personal account I'll give you right now that a Turning Point ambassador, there's a video of me talking to him. He's called the Mossad agent in our field. And basically, I was talking to him. I had him kind of hooked on a rope, believing, you know, I was going to ask a socialist question, this, that, whatever, and we mingled a little bit. And he was telling me, okay, listen, man, because I wanted to get the question out there, so I kept asking different people working the event, where's the question line going to be? Where's the question line going to be? And so I asked him, and he said, okay, you're on the right side over here, so the left side over here is going to be for the leftist, and the right side is going to be for the alt-right. He didn't even say it like, okay, one side's for leftist, one side's for conservative. You know what I mean? He said, like, automatically, if they're lining up on the conservative side, they're probably alt-right. And that's totally false. If you've been following the space totally...
All right, Jew Groyper, you know, I got to cut you off to get to the rest of my callers. I appreciate you doing that. Send us any info on them actually discriminating, though. Appreciate that, man. Take care.
All right. Thanks for having me on. Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Donning Armor out of California has advice for BrendioEEE.
Yeah, I should have called in and said my name was Chad. But
Chaz?
I didn't think
or
of
Chad?
it at the time. So. Anyway, so Brendio, you say that it's personality and confidence. You don't feel that they're contributing factors. It sounds like you think that it's all about looks and physical prowess. Is that true?
Yeah, I would say, you know, people can be as confident as they want to be and have the best personality ever. And in many such cases, especially in like a place where I live, it doesn't really matter that much, especially if you aren't the best looking person in the world, for sure.
Oh, I think I'm... Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay, well, you're not getting any. So maybe you're wrong about that. I mean, has that ever come into your mind?
What?
Since you haven't been successful with a woman, how do you know what causes success with a woman is basically what he's saying.
Well, we can measure this looking at men who are successful with women and how they're successful. And it's typically because of looks, money, or status.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that your formula hasn't worked for you thus far. What is the average age of most of these incels? I'm curious about that.
I believe most are between the ages of like 18 to 26, I think.
I've noticed that myself, and that's a problem because guys don't really come into their full potential until they're about 25. At least that's when the floodgates opened for me. And I think a little bit more patience. I never kissed a girl until I was... No, wait, that's not true. I was going to say I didn't kiss a girl until I was 18, but that's not true, actually. I never had a girlfriend or anything until I was, I think, 18 years old, and then through my 20s, that's when it starts to happen, man. So, and the confidence and the personality is the most important part about it. I mean, yeah, it helps to look good. It helps to have a lot of money. Of course it does. But you don't need it. And when you say that you've asked hundreds of girls out, knock that off. Just have fun, be a fun person to be around, and the girls will let you know when they're interested. They'll give you that little look, and then they'll look away, and then they'll look back at you. You know what I mean? Like, they have little subtle ways of telling you, I'm interested in you. I've never chased a girl. Well, I did. Well, my first girlfriend, I actually pursued her. Every other girl that I've been with, I didn't do anything. I just waited for them to come to me, and it happened. So you're 22 now. You're going to get there. Don't worry.
I'm sure I'll get there one day.
Appreciate it, Donning Armor. Thank you, man.
No problem.
All right. D, first-time caller out of New York City. D, what's up?
Hi. Hi,
Hey.
guys. How are you?
Doing fine. Nice to hear from you.
Doing good.
So the first thing I wanted to say was don't go on Tinder.
Don't go on Tinder.
Would be a bad move.
You agree?
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend anyone to go on Tinder, actually.
Okay.
Personally.
Yeah. So I wanted to say many times women want what other women have. So don't project need and want. You know, just like focus on yourself. And women do this all the time. It's like that's their foundation. You know, they get their hair done, they go to the gym, they get cosmetic surgery, they have an flippant attitude. So like just focus on yourself, and you will see that women will be more attractive to you when you're not projecting a need or a want.
What do you say to that?
Well, I have been focusing on, improving myself over the past not several years, maybe like 3 or 4 years. And I would say that overall, it's been working. But I would also make the argument that, I don't know, I feel like people focus on like one specific thing about like the community or that someone has said, and they focus on that a bit too much, and they think that that's everything. Because, men do, the whole reason why men are incels, or why some men are incels, is because they want a woman. But just because they want a woman doesn't mean that their whole life is focused on wanting a woman. It's typically about improving themselves or, bettering themselves, or in some cases, moving to a better area or making more money, et cetera, et cetera. It's not a hyper-focus of, I want a woman so bad and all the time. It's not really about that at all. And when we look into the statistics about, why women like us or why they don't like us, et cetera, we're not like obsessed about it. We're just looking for the truth. Like the whole point about the black pill is finding the truth. And I know the black pill is very nihilistic in some cases, but I've come to view it in more of a positive way. Like I've kind of viewed the black pill in a white pill kind of fashion, which is the black pills are dark truths. And you can see dark truths and come out a better person from seeing the dark truths. You don't have to drift into nihilism.
Thank you, D. I appreciate you. Let's talk again. Dial on, 30 seconds, go.
I just want to point out that Brendio and all the callers, I think they need to ask themselves, why is it that they have this bizarre need to find some way possible to blame the guy no matter what? And I think that's what 99% of those callers are. They're trying to do mental gymnastics and make it sound like, it's so simple. You just do this and do this. Why aren't you doing that? And then you'll get a girl. It's not that simple, okay? Mathematically, these 80% of men are not going to be able to ascend into the top 20% of men. It's not mathematically possible. And that is the dark truth. That is the reality. And we're not going to get anywhere until we acknowledge, like he just said, there are dark truths. And Brendio, I think you do a great job advocating for yourself, but I would say go a little harder, man. Punch back 10 times as hard.
Lift the optics.
Punch back twice as hard. That's a Ben Shapiro saying. Appreciate it, Dial On. Thank you, man. BrendioEEE on YouTube, and how else do you want people to find you?
Well, you could also contact me at my email, which is brendiocontact@gmail.com.
brendiocontact@gmail.com. BrendioEEE, capital E's, on YouTube. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
And thank you, guys. Get It Off Your Chest Friday is tomorrow. And then I'll be on after Jesse Lee Peterson tomorrow. Women's Forum tonight, ladies. Make sure you come out to the Bond current location, rebuildingtheman.com/events, 800-411-BOND, 800-411-2663 if you need info or if you want to support Bond, buy books, etc. Take care.